Welcome back, Inebri-art. So today's episode kind of came through pretty quickly. So I didn't have I feel like I am a little out of the loop because way back in the day I was into like metal and industrial, and then I got old. And today's band lead singer, front person of the band Black Satellite, Larissa Vale. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so like you guys are what, like 7 or 8 years old, the band itself.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was, I was more into it's not that I don't enjoy, I don't know. I'm just old, Larissa, you know. And I say that I'm going to a punk show tonight, but yeah, I just find myself gravitating more towards like blues and rock. But I was a big like Ministry fan and My Life at the Thrill Kill Cult and kind of that whole Chicago industrial scene back in my college days. Um, and I want to ask you one question, and I don't like asking this question of Vance because I feel like it's a very hacky question, but I have a reason. Where does the name Black Satellite come from?
I really wish that I had this awesome story and like I should probably invent one, and just screw with people. But I just thought of it when I was 15 years old, like in my bedroom,
Yeah,
and it's I know there's like a conspiracy theory or whatever, but
that's what I
it's
want.
honestly not,
Yeah.
it's not even based on that. I actually learned about that after, just like looking it up online or whatever, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just take this and run with it. But like, no, it was just a completely random thought that I had, and it ended up just sticking.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because the first time I heard your band name, I'm like, I wonder if it's related to the Black Knight Satellite. And when I, looked you guys up online, it was kind of like the first two options were Black Satellite Band or Black Knight Satellite. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, I hate asking that question because I feel like bands get asked that kind of shit all the time. But yeah, I'm a big conspiracy fan in a weird sort of way. Like I don't believe them. I just love how like weird and interesting and kind of all that weirdness that goes along with it.
I mean, I think it's kind of hilarious that if you Google our band, it's just like either the band or like fucking aliens.
Yeah, but it kind of fits the I don't want to say vibe. Like I was even looking at one of your videos right before this, and I was like, oh, it has like a real like Giger, like HR Giger look to the
It's really
video.
funny that you say that 'cause that's like my exact inspiration because I'm a huge fan. I actually have one of his rings on right now.
Oh, nice. I love his stuff.
Yeah. No, that's good that you got the reference. That's what I was going for.
Yeah, I years ago, I don't even think my kids were born yet. I was in a Salvation Army, and there was just like sitting on this sofa was a lithograph signed by Giger, and I think I spent like $25 on it, and it was like
That's crazy.
it was hanging over my like fireplace and had a reframe, so it was like nice, but just that you never know what you're gonna find. But I've always loved his work since I think I first found out about him when I was in art school, like in the '90s, and it's just weird and you know has a real voice. Like some of his stuff is like really the one that I always think of is the gun with kind of like the bullet people
That's
inside.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. That one's sick. Like I was looking at his online shop back in the day and like I was like, God, I really wish I could buy one of these, but there's like they were really expensive. They're probably even more expensive now. But it's actually kind of a funny story of how I got into his work. So I used to live in Switzerland when I was younger with my family. And we visited the town of Gruyere, and that's where the Giger Museum is. It's like it's like this gothic little like European town. It has a castle and it's really cool. So where the Gruyere cheese is made.
Yeah,
And so they have the Giger Museum right there, and across the street is the Giger Bar that was under construction back when I was there. And my older brother was like, "Oh my God, we should go to this museum." And we had like ditched our parents somewhere, and we like kind of go in, and I don't even think we had like enough pocket money to buy the tickets to go to the museum. So he just kind of like grabs my arm, and we're just like running through the museum, and security's like chasing after us, and they're like, what the fuck's with these kids? Like you need to buy a ticket. And so we're running through the whole museum, trying to look at as much as we can. There's a little bit of like Scooby-Doo action, right? And we're like running through different like rooms and hallways, and then we finally make it through the whole museum. And we leave through a back entrance, just run down the street and just book it. They never caught us. But yeah, I'll always remember that. And I was like a kid, and then I got like super into his artwork and stuff. And then of course saw the Alien movies when I was older.
Yeah. I did that have an influence on your music? Like when did you kind of start uh I don't did you say how old you were? I don't shouldn't ask how old you
So
were
I was
probably.
like, I was probably like 9 or 10 years old.
Oh, you were super small.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was like, like probably way too young to be looking at all this kind of like phallic artwork. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely some of his stuff that I'm like, yeah, that's not family friendly, but yeah, that's funny. I just kind of like assumed you were like a teenager.
No, my brother was a teenager. He's probably a bad influence on me. But that's how I kind of got into, listening to all the music I loved, because we would share a wall in between our bedroom, and I'd just be hearing him blast stuff. And he actually came out to the New York show the other day, and he was like, "Hey, do you remember when you were little and you would just be sitting in the hallway with your ear to my door?" And then he's like, "Yeah," and I'd like open my door and be like, "What the fuck? Have you been sitting there the whole time?" So because I just wanted to listen to all the music that he was listening to in there, and I just thought it was so cool. So yeah, I got into all that stuff super young.
Yeah. What was he listening to that you're eavesdropping on?
Like Marilyn Manson and Korn, Deftones, Tool and Biscuit, Eminem, like
Yeah.
all that 90s shit.
Nice. And now you're on tour with Manson now, right?
I am on tour with Manson, and like it's like seriously been my dream since I was like 12 years old. I remember being in Switzerland, and I'd be watching like Kerrang, and then I would see the Dope Show come on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm just like, you know, my dad was still at work, and my mom was probably out grocery shopping or whatever, and I'd like turn the TV on in secret and like sit there and be like, what the fuck? This is so cool. So like my God, like every day has just been amazing. I still can't even believe I'm on the road with Manson. Like I thought it would like hit me at the first show.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, this is just the coolest thing ever. Like and it just never gets less cool.
And that's like I think that'd be the fear is like it becoming kind of like mundane and like I am very lucky at what I get to do and I'm constantly having to remind myself being like, oh, this is my job. My job is really silly to hang out at breweries and watch people play video games or paint beer mugs and whatever the weird event is that we're doing. And it's like I don't ever want to lose that feeling of not just being lucky, but like it is abnormal. My job is abnormal. Like, and I don't want to kind of lose that because I think that's part of what I really like about it.
It's amazing. Like, we'll just be in the venue and I'll just see Manson walk by and I'm like, what the fuck? Am I here right now? Like crazy. Like literally living the dream every day is just like such a mind fuck.
And do you find like I feel it's far more common, but again, like when I was more into industrial and metal music, that female fronted bands were very like few and far between. It was like I don't know, Lita Ford and there was another like I think it was a Scandinavian band. Dora Pesh, I think, was the lead singer. But like other than that, I'd be like hard pressed to think of any kind of like female fronted metal band of that genre that era, I should say. So is it more common now, or do you feel pressure or hazing or like any kind of crap like that? Or
There's definitely an upswing in female fronted bands as we've been seeing, which is really cool. But I've never really thought about it too much. I don't think about like male, female kind of stuff, It's just, I just want to sing how I feel like singing. So it's kind of a little bit of influences of people I listened to growing up and stuff like that. And yeah, I just try not to think too much about it. It's just like, this is the body I'm in, so be it. And that's what it sounds like when I want to sing. And I just kind of just try to focus more on the artistic aspects of it, really.
Yeah. I love that because I mean, honestly, I feel like that's the way it should be. Like, it shouldn't be like, I feel when when Marilyn was coming up, it's like, this is a, heavy metal band, whatever, they were defined as. But I feel like anytime there's a female lead singer, they're like, oh, it's a female fronted. Like, they always feel the need to kind of add that on. And I mean, it should just be what kind of band it is. And you know. Do
Hell
you
yeah.
uh where do you find, I mean, other than Geiger, where do you find the ideas and influences for your music? Like, where does that all come from?
So yeah, obviously it's stuff I was inspired to listening to growing up, and I kind of really find that it's important to be vulnerable when you're writing music, and so I always write about personal experiences, and I think people can find that really relatable to just kind of let that wall down and just not be afraid to write about some darker themes, and just kind of put it all out there.
Yeah, I was talking with someone just the other day and I can't remember who it was, but it was kind of like creative people can have a hard time taking criticism, I think, because it's like it's so it's almost impossible to not make what you're making personal. Like, you spend so much time either writing the song or painting the painting, and like you put part of yourself in that, and it is a bit like when someone says I don't like that song, it can be real easy to be like, I don't like that for the person here. I don't like that person because it's so much a part of you.
The way I look at it is there's a difference between being personal and taking something personally. So I'm just unapologetically myself. And so whatever people have to say about it, I don't really like take it to heart, because that's just me at the end of the day. And if I can't accept myself, how do I expect other people to accept me? So, whether it's positive or negative, whatever it is, that's just me. I'm not going to change. I am who I am. And that's just the most authentic version of myself.
So if like the crowd's not like vibing, like you don't, you're kind of just like, okay, that's
We've been
cool.
very lucky. We haven't really had that problem.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, like occasionally you have like the one asshole in the middle who's just like this.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the set, he's like, all right, fuck it. This is kind of cool. And I'm like, I got you. It just kind of exits on even more. I'm like, all right, motherfucker, we're going to make this guy crack, And then he's like, fucking head. Hell yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and it's like I love going to see um bands that I love because a lot of times, the opening acts are people I've never heard of, and um you know within a matter of a few songs I'm like, okay, making mental note. I need to go deep dive this person's stuff on Spotify and watch their videos. It's just a great way to, it provided they're paired well together. I've seen some that you're like, why is this person on tour with this other person? This makes no sense. But like, I think it's a great way to kind of find new fans.
I love it, being an opener in a way, because like people have no idea what to expect. And then we just fucking show up there, spiky jackets and gothic face paint. And then, they're just like, okay, well, what's gonna happen? And I just love it because I'm like, just you fucking wait. And then the first song kicks in, and they start screaming, and people are totally vibing out. And I think it's like a pleasant surprise, and we kind of really ride off that energy too, So I'm like, all right, here's a new crowd, let's do it.
Where's been your favorite crowd so far that you've played in front of?
Oh my God, there's just been so many. I mean, every day on this tour has been a fucking blast, you know, and we've been really fortunate to be on a bunch of other amazing tours the past few years. We just did a Europe tour with Cradle of Filth last fall. That was really cool, taking us abroad, and you know, God, we were in a different country like every day, and you don't even know what kind of crowd you're gonna get. And then like sometimes, you know, we'd get down to like Madrid or Barcelona or like Lisbon, and like they're fucking crazy down there, and I'm like, holy shit. And you know, like every crowd's kind of different, so it's like just playing Russian roulette. You know, okay, well, we're in this country. What are they going to be like tonight? You know, so that was really fun for us.
I went on a short trip through Europe. I was only there for about maybe a week, 10 days maybe, and I found it really grueling because and it was probably just the way in which we were traveling through the continent. But like every morning, I woke up, we lost an hour of sleep because we had not only changed country, we'd changed time zone, and
Mm.
like we got, I think the furthest east we went was Russia. And by the time we got there, I lost like 4 hours of sleep in 4 days. The sun didn't really set. I was just like, I just want to go back to bed. I don't know if I want lunch or dinner or, it was brutal. Like, have you experienced that kind of like, touring's got to be tough.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're like, I've been on tours where every day is a different time zone. And you just stop trying to catch up at a certain point in time. You're like, all right, well, load-ins at this time. We'll just like set a reminder. You know, I'm just like, I don't know where we are or what time of day it is. And just, you know, and you're just like so exhausted in general. And it's, you don't even try to catch up on sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Who was it? Ace Frehley played, we have a music hall in Plymouth, and he was playing there maybe last year, and people were giving him crap because someone took a photo. I mean, people giving him crap. It was online crap, so it wasn't real crap. But like, someone took a photo and like written in big letters on a piece of paper on the stage just said Plymouth, and like, oh, he doesn't even know where he is. I'm like, why would he? Like you wake up, they dump you into like whatever venue it is, and then you pack up and off you go. It's got to be like crazy to keep track of where you are.
I know people have asked me, they're like, oh my God, you've got to travel the world. You've probably seen so many cool cities. And I'm like, I've seen a lot of venues.
Yeah, you don't get any kind of extra time at all, or
No, I mean, like with our schedule, it depends. But yeah, a lot of the time it's just like stuck at the venue all day and we don't really get to explore much.
so now that you're touring with Manson, and that's a pretty big deal. Uh, do you make your brother listen to music like with his ear up against your door? Like, do you give him a lot of sibling crap about what you're doing and whatnot?
Yeah, so we were actually just joking about this the other day. He was like, yeah, I wouldn't let you in my room because I didn't think you were cool enough. So that's why I'd sit outside with my ear to the door and listen to all this music. And I go, yeah, look how the tables have turned. But I still let you on my bus.
Yeah, that's like my two kids are 2 years apart, and it's like it's obvious they love each other, but they give each other so much crap, and yeah, so um is he also like, was your whole family creative, or is it just kind of you? Were you the black sheep?
Yeah, yeah. My brother's super into visual art and music as well. And, you know, my mom is into fashion design. Yeah, so there's some definitely some creatives in the family as well.
Nice. um on the tour list, I think it said were you already in Boston? Were you in Boston recently?
No, so Boston is actually coming up for us. Today we
Oh,
are
okay.
in Philly. We have a day off, and tomorrow's the show here at the Met. She's gonna be sick.
Where did you say you were?
No, so today we're in
Oh,
Philly. So we have
okay.
a
Yeah,
day off. The
it just
show
dropped
is
out.
here tomorrow.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, no worries.
I love so my mother's family's from Philly, so I spent a fair amount of time. And anytime I go there, I love to go to talking about museums of creepy weird stuff. But the probably gonna say it wrong. The Muter Museum.
I have not been there actually.
Oh man, that's fantastic. So he was like one of the first doctors in this country that was kind of pushing for doctors to go to school, and he compiled teaching aids. So like there's a wall of skulls. There is a mummified woman's corpse that's turning into soap. They call her the soap woman. There is, do you know Chang and Ang? Like the
No.
Chang and Ang were like the Siamese twins that used to tour with Barnum and Bailey. So they have like their life casts, like they cast them in plaster when they passed, and there's just like skeletons and skulls, and it's just really creepy and macabre and fascinating, like all at the same time. It's super cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I was just in Rome a few weeks ago, and I got to go to the catacombs, and like they have all these bones arranged in all these crazy patterns, and it's like I can't tell if it's the work of a madman or genius, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I that's kind of one of those places that I would love to go to because I've always been like, obviously being a Geiger fan into like dark visuals and dark music and um I does that are you also like into horror movies and like horror in general, or
Oh yeah, I love horror movies. Definitely.
what's the go-to? I'm always looking for now I prefer bad horror movies, kind of, and not like Sharknado. That's kind of like I want someone
Like
who's
cult classics.
yeah, someone
Like,
who's trying really hard to make a good movie and just failed.
you know, the one that always comes to mind is not a horror movie, but have you ever seen The Room?
Oh, of course. Yes. Yeah. But now isn't he trying to play off that like he was meaning that to be a comedy? Isn't that like isn't he trying to like
I'm
pretend
sorry.
like oh that's oh did I cut out? Sorry. Isn't he now trying to play off like that was his intent was to kind of make a silly movie?
I don't know. Maybe he was
Yeah.
just trying to write it off after the fact. I can't really tell.
Yeah. But no, I someone ref, told me I need to see it's called Rubber, and it is like a
Oh, I
demonic
haven't seen it.
it's a demonic tire that is just
Oh,
possessed
you
with
know, I
like
think I've seen a trailer for it. I
yeah,
haven't seen that one though.
it looks pretty great. So
Yeah, there was actually a movie I watched called Boogeyman, and I was like, okay, whatever, what's this? And so I put it on. It's like a newer one. And then there's like this crazy, creepy, like demonic creature in there that I swear to God still creeps me out. Like I go to my room to go to sleep, and I think that there's like some creature under my bed now. And I just like dive into bed, and I think it's gonna grab my.
that's I think that's kind of the fun part is like creeping yourself out. We one of our other shows did a ghost tour of it's in Barnstable, and it's the oldest wooden jail cell in the country, and it literally just looks like a small barn, and some pirates were kept there, and it's been set on fire, and you can see their carvings, and it's supposed to have like ghosts that are there, and they just threw everybody in
Very
there like,
cool.
and so we're there in the dark, and he shuts the light off, and he's telling the story, and everyone got so creeped out that even without realizing it, because there was I don't know maybe 10 of us, and we're kind of all just standing sporadically. By the time he finished and he turned the lights back on, everyone had like crowded together within like 6 inches of each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Have you? You said you got to go to the catacombs. Have you gone anywhere else while you were on tour? Because I know that's tough, but
Oh, let's see. I mean, we had a day off in Amsterdam. That was pretty cool. I mean, we even played a show in Prague, and I didn't even get to leave the venue that day either. But like my bandmates snuck out and walked around. I was so fucking jealous. I'm like, oh God, I'll have to go back when I'm not on tour and actually explore.
being the lead singer, is there more like sound check obligations that you had to do that
So I'm
like
also doing stuff like on the production side for us, like the tour managing kind of stuff and like setting up gear, that kind of thing, and just kind of overseeing everything. So kind of like the leader of the group. So a lot of stuff on my shoulders.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like I would just assume that like you have someone take care of that, or is that kind of because like I'm a super control freak. Like I have a hard time giving, delegating work to other people. Are you like that, or is it just a matter of necessity?
I'd love to delegate, but in some weird way, I'm like a workaholic. Like I just enjoy the grind, so it's not so much like the control factor. I just like don't like sitting around. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
100%, which is why I have like,
really
yeah,
rewarding for me.
yeah. No, and like I have almost to a bit of, I don't want to say self-destruction is not the right word, but that has definitely hurt me in life because like I've been in relationships where they come home from work and they want to sit on the couch and watch Friends or The Office for the 16th million time, and I'm like, no, no, let's do something. And I very much have a hard time with downtime. I'm always trying to work or come up with something, and it can be pretty challenging to try to separate that, especially when you have a fun job. Like that's do you think it's because of the field you're in, or do you think you'd be that way regardless of what you did?
I don't know. I mean, it might be part of my like upbringing. So I grew up like in, moving all over Europe. My dad was, worked for the government. So I'm just like really used to change and adventures and travel, exploring. So, I mean, I've just always been kind of doing that my whole life in a way.
Yeah. What was your favorite place to live over in Europe?
Switzerland for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean, it was just so beautiful there. It kind of, the landscape just looked like the sound of music. We lived in this small mountain town, and we could see the Alps and Lake Geneva, and there are cows on the other side of the fence in our backyard. And it was just like so picturesque. And I would just go play in the forest by myself. And there was this creek that would run all the way down, and I'd follow it and see how far I could go. And I mean, yeah, it's just like a fairy tale.
Yeah, that's totally different from where I grew up. Just suburban, United States. Um, Although I really, when I was over there, I didn't spend much time in each place. Like I said, I was only there for about 10 days, but I really liked Finland and Sweden. I just thought
Yeah.
it's such a different, here living in Plymouth, that's literally the oldest part of our country. And it's just like, oh, this building's 150 years old. And over in Sweden and Finland and, Europe in general, they're like, that's a new building, in their consideration. It's just completely different mindset, it feels like.
Yeah, for real.
Um, so what's next for Black Satellite? Are you guys working on a new album or
Yeah, so we actually just launched a brand new single yesterday. So by the time viewers see this, it's already out. We made a really cool music video for it. We got to work with Kane Churko, who's a phenomenal producer. I really loved working with him. We're going to be dropping a couple more singles in the next couple months, and our record's coming out before our fall tour. And I'm also just working on new material simultaneously, so that people can look forward to a lot more releases from us.
nice? And I'm assuming you're headlining the fall tour. Do you know who's going to open for you guys?
What was that?
Do you know who's going to be opening for you guys on your tour?
So we were actually supporting Mushroom Head this fall.
Oh,
Yeah, and,
okay.
and we might have other tours going on. We're kind of working out the end of our year, but it's going to be a very busy year for Black Satellite, and that's always awesome.
Nice. Do you do any of the big or any festivals at all? Like, do you prefer festivals or just the couple
I
bands?
love playing festivals. We've played some festivals in the past, and it's always like kind of hectic and stressful, but like the shows kick ass. Like those kinds of crowds. I remember playing, I think we were playing in front of like 70,000 people or something. And I'm just looking out, and I was trying to figure out where the ocean of people ended. And then I realized I was like almost having like an out of body experience because I was like, this is so fucking cool. And then I was like, oh shit, second verse. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm just looking at the first two rows of people because this is just too amazing, to take it all in. And I got to get through the sets.
That's got to be tough to like. I have heard people kind of bash some musicians for using like teleprompters or whatnot, and it's just like I forget what I'm saying when I'm talking to like a couple of people, and I'll blank for a second. I can't imagine getting distracted. It's got to
It's
be.
just like it's the kind of things you dream about as a kid, You're like, then you just see this ocean of people, and it's just the most amazing view from the stage. And you're like, how did I end up here? This is just the coolest. But yeah, it's a little bit hard to focus.
Yeah, and you want to enjoy it too. It's like you want to enjoy that experience of that you've been looking forward to essentially since you're a kid. Um, is how do you kind of stay like grounded and kind of still grateful for that? Is there something about it that like I think every job has kind of that drudgery or something that you hate doing, but like how do you kind of not let that get to you when and to stay appreciative of what you got?
I feel like whenever you're chasing your dreams, and, like my whole life, I always knew I wanted to sing in a band. Like even when I was in like third grade, like I didn't have any other dreams. It was just tunnel vision. The only thing I ever wanted to do. And when you're able to finally actually do it, like even the hard days don't feel hard. Like when my body should be in pain from sleeping on the floor for X amount of weeks and not eating and not sleeping or whatever. It's almost like masochistic. I just don't even feel it because I mean, I'm just so alive when I'm performing on stage and just being able to do this on a daily basis. It's just so mind-boggling to me. Like, like how many people even get the chance to do something like this? Like right now I'm on tour with Marilyn Manson. Like that's just like the fucking coolest thing ever to me. And I never want to think any other way. Like I feel like I want to always look at it like from that kind of a perspective. You know what I mean? It's like I don't feel it's not like I'll ever be like, oh, I deserve to be here. Like I don't deserve
Yeah.
shit. It's just really fucking cool that I can get this opportunity, kind of a thing. So like I'm just trying to take it all in every day and always be grateful for where I am, because I mean, if this is the only cool thing that I get to do in my life, like so be it. But I'm gonna make sure that I enjoy every single second of it.
What was that point in third grade that like was it a video or did you go to a concert or something? Like what was that moment where you're like, that's what I want to do?
I don't know. I don't even remember when I decided that I want to be a musician. It was just since I can remember, I just always had that dream and that goal.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those, I've talked to so many people and it's just like it's that even if you weren't on tour or doing whatever, it's like you can't not do it. That's the thing that I've always found is when I had a crappy job and I was on a conference call, I would be drawing on a sheet of paper next to where I was supposed to be taking notes. And it was the only way that I could even focus is I had to be doing the thing that I kind of wanted to do.
I think it's a really good way to kind of mitigate your perspective. So it's like if you imagine any alternative, like if I ever think about like not being a musician or not doing music, it terrifies me because I think about what else would I even want to do? I can't even answer that question. It's just I'm just so invested in this. And it just means so much to me and it's so much a part of my identity that I'm just like, God, what would I do if I didn't do music? And I think that's the thing that just keeps me going, like, with my aspirations and my drive and ambitions. It's because I don't have a fallback. It would ruin me. I have to do this. It's you know, it's not even like I live to write music. I write music to live.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
have to do this for me.
I always tell people I hate the idea of a fallback because to make a living at a creative field, regardless of what it is, it's incredibly hard. And if you have a fallback, it's just so much easier to be like, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go teach math
Yeah,
or
fuck this amount.
yeah, I'll dabble in whatever that creative thing is, and you just miss so much because you're trying. Because I mean, people in general, not everybody, but like to take the easy road, and it's having a creative job is not even remotely close to the easy road.
Absolutely.
Uh, so when does the new album come out? Do you have a release date yet?
We do. It's gonna come out in October, right before our fall tour.
Nice. And where can our listeners go to follow the band, find out when the album's out? Are you gonna do physical copies or just digital release? Are you gonna be like vinyls or
Oh, we're
whatnot?
definitely doing physical copies and vinyl as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can check out all of our upcoming tour dates and our merch on blacksatellite.com, and it's at Black Satellite on social media. I always like to encourage people to DM us as well. We do read all of the messages, and we try to get back to everybody as quickly as we can. So yeah, let us know. Let us know how your single downfall, or how your day's going, or what the coolest burger joint is in whatever town we're in. We love to hear from everybody.
that doesn't. I feel like that'd be so daunting as a like. I hate getting through my email, let alone DMing from every
You
fan.
have a lot of hours sitting on the bus, so
Oh yeah, I suppose that's true. That's true. That's true.
keep us
Um,
entertained.
well, if you when you come to Boston, probably won't. So there's Boston itself, and if you're gonna go out to eat, you like go to the North End, get Italian food. But then there's like two different mindsets. There's the North Shore, which their thing is roast beef sandwiches, and then there's the South
Okay.
Shore where we live, and it is they call them bar pizzas, and they're like small, almost single serving pizzas, but they're a very specific kind. And like if you talk to North Shore people, they're very adamant about which is the best roast beef place, and no one can agree. And it's the same on the South Shore for bar pizza. So that's the Massachusetts divide.
I'll have to
So
check it out.
I was actually like it's such a thing. I got to interview um, Joey Santiago from the Pixies,
Hmm.
and right before we got off the call, he's like, wait, hang on. And I'm like, what? He goes, is Cape Cod Pizza in Brockton still kick ass? And it was just so funny that it's such like a South Shore thing that to talk to someone who's like toured the world and like, wait, I still want to hear about my favorite pizza place. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, so Joey recommends Cape Cod, but he's wrong. So, so I just want to say thanks for taking the time to talk to us. Our listeners can go and check you guys out when you're touring either now or in October when you're touring with it was Mushroom Head, right?
Yes.
All right, sweet. So listeners, make sure you check out Black Satellite and their new album out in October. Did we get the name for the album? I don't.
Yep. And the new record's called Aftermath.
Aftermath, sweet. And so you guys can check us out next Monday, where we'll be back with another creative person to talk to. So thank you, Larissa, and thanks for coming on and giving us the time.
Thanks so much for having me. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
And thanks for checking out the show today, listeners. If you enjoyed the content today, you can go over to patreon.com/Inebri-art to support the show. You can join over there for just a few dollars a month and help us provide this fun content that you just checked out. You can also email us at inebriart.com with your questions, complaints, and concerns, or you can find us on all social medias at Inebri-art or at Inebri-art6 on Instagram. And also don't forget to check out our other shows, Bar Talk Podcast, Old Colony Cast, Inebri-art, and all the other shows on the Inebri-art Network, which you can find at inebriart.com. Thanks again for listening.